online chat room radio show, but I'm glad that we can all talk to you. So I just saw you in Stucci's chat on my other YouTube. Yeah, I signed into that, and then I signed out because I had a phone call come in, and so I wasn't there for the whole broadcast. So anyway, we got about a minute and a half thereabouts left until we go live on the radio station. So welcome to all of you who are here for the pre-show, such as it is. So we're all set up. Everything's ready to roll. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. And it's an interesting topic. And I only chose it because I happened to see an article on it. And I thought, that's a great topic because we've all faced that in the last few years. Even more so, it seems, due to politics and things like that lately. Adjust this light just a little bit. It seems to be right in a place where I don't want it. That's good enough. So, yeah, there we are. I saw somebody else pop in. Doug? Grumpy Stack is here. Good to see you, brother. Okay, guys, we got just a couple of seconds. I'm going to go dark, and we're going to go live.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Well, good evening, folks. Welcome. It's Tuesday evening. Welcome to your Tuesday evening. Welcome to my Tuesday evening. Welcome to the program. This is Scotty Roberts, your host, here on the Odyssey Radio.com. I still want to say the Odyssey Radio Network. It's Odyssey Radio, the Intrepid Radio Show, right here tonight, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time in the United States, and whatever hour zone you are in all around the world. And we do have an international audience, which is kind of fun. And we've got people listening in Australia, people listening in Europe, and people listening on the East Coast and the West Coast of this country. So it's kind of fun that the whole world can hear you at one time. Isn't that kind of interesting and kind of fun? So to all of you around the world and all of you here, most of you are here domestically in the United States, welcome to the show. And also, if you're not just listening to the radio and hearing my voice audibly over at odysseyradio.com, you can go over and watch the videos simulcast in 2 different places. Over on the Facebook channel, that's facebook.com/Odyssey Radio, ODYSY Radio. And you can also go over to my YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. where you can join the Intrepid family in the chat room over there now. And everybody would love to have you come on in. You can watch if you want. You can join the chat if you want. So welcome over there. And also, if you're on my my YouTube channel, just look down below the window over here, and somewhere you'll see the join button, and the subscribe button, and the like button. So if you'd hit the like button, that'd be cool. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And if you'd like to join the channel, just click on that button. It'll show you 3 ways you can do that. So thank you already for being here, and let's get into it. So there's something that hit my mind today that I think we all are facing in one respect or another, not just because of social media and politics these days, but we've all run into this in one form or another all throughout our lives. And that's the having of friends that were always good friends. And somehow you realize one day, maybe it's because so much time has gone by and you go, hey, I haven't talked to that person. And you find out that that friendship is fizzled out. Sometimes there's a reason, sometimes there's not a reason. And it's something that sometimes we just go, oh, you know, I can go with that. I can roll with that. I get it and I understand. And there are other times where you say, you know, I don't get that and I don't understand that. I don't know why that thing. And sometimes you reach out and sometimes those people respond and go, hey, it's been forever. Good to talk to you. And then there are other times where, you know, you either are met with silence or you are met with, sometimes it's a confrontation. And people tell you, you know what? Wanted to be over with our friendship and too bad, see ya. And so I think maybe all of us have experienced those kinds of things along the way. And hey, Dave Potter over in the chat room. Uncle Dave is here. And so we've got the whole lineup of our Intrepid family is there. Missing a couple of people that are regulars for the night. But everybody keeps piling in. It's good to have you all here. And those of you listening out on the radio, if you want to join us, you can. You can come over to the chat room and join the talk during the show. It doesn't always stick to just the show. There's other things that people chat about. And so tonight we're talking about friendships that fade, friendships that go away. And I want to talk about it from 2 different angles if we get to all the angles I want to cover. And because there's what happens when you look and you say, I've lost a friend, or what happens when you're on that other side and say, I'm maybe the one that needs to end this friendship. And there's, what do you do when you've outgrown a friendship? Have you ever done that? Have you ever outgrown a friendship? Have you ever had friends that you say, you know, I haven't talked to that person in a long time and I don't think I care to? Or that they reach out to you and you ghost them. You don't answer any of their emails. You don't answer their messages and things like that. So the first thing I want to look at, and what are the signs that you and a friend are growing apart? And there are really 5 signs, and I want to kind of go through these and see what you think. And we'll see how much of this stuff that I pulled up that we can cover for tonight. And a lot of this comes from Psychology Today. I like to go into Psychology Today and glean some of their articles sometimes. And if I have a specific topic, I want to look at that over there and find out what's going on psychologically with some of this stuff. And Sarah Nichols, thank you over in the chat room, shared out the video and the audio. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Iowa X, over in the chat room, we are talking about boy and girl and buddies. So however you want to look at it, friendships that exist and suddenly don't. And I've told some stories here on this show about friendships that have disappeared, people that have come to me and said, hey, I don't want to be your friend anymore, so don't contact me again. And some of them long-term friendships. Now, I'm also one of those guys that, and now maybe you can imagine this about me. You know me, I like to talk. I like my friends. I like the people that I like, and I like to be around them. And sometimes I'm sure there are things that I have done that people go, wow, I'm really tired of his shit, and I don't want to be his friend anymore. There's also, I think, times that you just go on divergent paths. You're not on the same path anymore. And where I find that the most evident has been, frankly, in the last 5 years. I have found politics has been a big thing that some people don't want to have to endure about somebody else if they're on the other side of the political spectrum, the other end of the political spectrum. Dave Potter has lots of lists of things. And I don't know if that was meant as a joke, but it's not you, it's me. You heard that before? It's just me. And so I had one of the most notable I've talked about before, a friend of, since 1993, and we were very close, and we were very close friends. And he was also a friend of Uncle Dave's. Uncle Dave knew who he was. But he was somebody who just one day I realized I hadn't talked to this buddy of mine for a long time. This was a couple of years ago, and I wrote him and said, hey, how you doing, man? We haven't talked for a while. And, as friends do, sometimes because we're in different places in life and we move around and we do stuff, you can lose connection with some of those people who are very good. This person happened to be a very good and intimate friend of mine. We were very close. Leslie Holker says, and our government has separated us by party. Deliberately united we stand. Divided we fall. And we're falling as a nation. That's very true. And so we're seeing this not on a corporate level, but on an individual and a personal level. That friendships, affiliations, things like that, they just don't matter anymore. Oh, I was wondering what that noise was. That was the cat sharpening his claws over on that chair right there. So that was popping and scratching, and I thought, what am I hearing? That's what that was, if you heard that in the background. And so these are the things that made me think that this is a topic that we should talk about. And I don't think I ended that. That friend of mine chose to end our friendship because, as he said, it was who I voted for. And I said, that's a pretty dumb reason. And so he apparently felt that we had nothing left in common because we voted for different people. Yeah. And so there you go. That's what happens sometimes. So let's look at this. What are some of the 5 signs that you are growing apart from a friend of yours? Some friendships ebb and flow, and some things may indicate that 2 people are growing apart. Now, if you're growing apart, you may not feel motivated to reach out. You might feel relieved even when you leave a get together with that person. If you're growing apart, you might struggle to find common ground. And so friendships go through all these phases. They ebb and they flow over months and over years. But sometimes once important friendships start to fade. And here are 5 signs that you and a friend may truly be growing apart. Here's the things you look for. Number 1, you don't feel drawn to reaching out. One sign that you and your friend are growing apart is a negative shift in how you feel about reaching out to them. Do you have anybody like that in your life? Do you ever think, oh, I need to reach out to Bob? Nah, maybe not. I don't have time for Bob. I don't think the way Bob thinks, or whatever it might be. There might not even be anything hostile going on. You just realize, maybe we're not on the same page anymore. Maybe we're not interested in each other's lives anymore. And, that's what I think threw me and was probably the most hurtful thing personally when things happen to me is why did my friend choose to not care about me anymore? What did I do? I feel that I'm always friendly. I feel that I always do my best to reach out to somebody. And if there's time that goes by, I almost feel guilty if they reach out to me and I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you. And now we all have superficial friendships. We all have occasional friendships. We all have deep and meaningful friendships. And only you know how the depth of that friendship, but you can't always gauge that for the other person. Do you feel excited when you think about that other person? That excitement of, oh man, I get to go hang out with Tim today, and or do you find that thought of reaching out to that person creates this knot in your stomach, even a mild knot in your stomach? And I'm not talking about overwrought emotion. I'm just talking about, you're just kind of like, I don't know. I'm going to put him out of my mind. Do you have vague indifference or maybe even an irritation that comes, crap, he called me and I don't really want to talk to him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You ever felt that for somebody else? You know that if you feel it for other people, you've had those people feeling that for you or other people feeling that for you. Dave Potter says, signs your friend might not feel the same way. His nickname for you is asshole. ASSHOLE. So, and it happens. What about exes? But ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, ex-significant others, ex-spouses. That's a tough one for a lot of people. I had an ex-spouse that hadn't talked to me for 19 years and called me out of the blue. Most of my regulars have heard that story before. And we hadn't said a single word to each other since a divorce in 1988. And she ended up calling me in 2007 out of the blue and said, I'll bet you don't know who this is. Now, maybe some of you remember that story I told. And my response was, I recognized your voice. And I said right away, after 19 years, I said, I'll bet you I do know who this is. How are you? Excuse me. And so I don't have a mute button now. Not that I ever really use one very often. I just say, excuse me. But now I really don't. I don't have the soundboard with me here. So those are the friends that, when this ex of mine, we ended up rekindling a good friendship. And she kindled a friendship with Rainey. At the time, in 2007, she rekindled a friendship with my daughters. And my daughters even went to work for her with her little shop or something that she was running. And babysat for her, things like that. And so she came to visit me when I was in the hospital when I had my heart surgery. And and now it's kind of dropped off a little bit. We don't talk much, but we say hi every now and then. And you know what? Guess what? We're also on different ends of the political spectrum. But she still has a love in her heart for me, and I do for her. And it's in a good place, so it's not anything that's threatening to my relationship with my wife. And my wife likes her too. So you might notice you don't really want to reach out sometimes, though. You feel like you should want to. Why do I not want to? You ask yourself. And the idea of connecting with that person might feel draining or bring up what would actually feel like to spend time with this person. It's a drain on me. Perhaps the friendship has felt one-sided, and reaching out brings up resentment about your doing more emotional labor in the friendship. Whatever it is, the moment of outreach is an excellent time for a gut check about whether you want to follow through. So that first point about do you feel that the friendship is waning from your end? Maybe you don't feel drawn to reaching out. And maybe you have to think sometimes when you feel that from somebody else, maybe they feel that for me. Maybe they don't feel like it's time that they need to draw out the feelings for me and reach out to me. Iowa X, I don't know if you're talking to me. Did you dump her or her on you? Well, she dumped me in the marriage, if you want to use that terminology. She was did a lot of work out of town with IBM. She worked with IBM back in the 80s. And she came home from a business trip, sat there in her robe after the red eye, and she slept into the early afternoon and got up and sat with a cup of coffee with me. And first thing she said to me was, I want a divorce and I want it to be mutual. Meaning I don't want to fight about anything. We didn't have any kids. We had just bought a house. And so she kept the house. I moved out in 5 weeks in Minnesota. Since there was no property to haggle over, no kids to haggle over, it was done. And I never saw her again for 19 years. So the second point about this is you're not on the same page about how to spend time together. That happens when friendships fall apart. Another sign of growing apart is when friends want to spend time together. When friends want to spend time together, doing very different things. If one friend prefers to go clubbing while the other prefers quiet dinners at a restaurant, the mismatch can create tension. And this happens in relationships too, not just friendships, but friendships that have gone on to the relationship stage, romantic relationship. And this is especially true if one person loses interest in the activities around which the friendship was even based. I've had friends that, what was the basis of our friendship? Star Trek. You know, we were into Star Trek together, or in mutual interests like that. Like my friend who wrote off our friendship a few years ago. We were into all the same cool shit together. We did the same things. We had all the same interests. And our mutual wives liked each other, and we all did stuff together. So that didn't change, but the politics changed it. Now, for some, these rifts begin when one friend enters a romantic relationship with someone else, or has a child, or begins working at a job that demands more time and energy. And for others, it's simply that one of you changed interests over time. And friends can address these rifts and try to find new ways to connect, but some may find that this solidifies the distance rather than finds ways to draw them back together. If you've got things with somebody that draw you apart and you go different ways, sometimes it's not even helpful to try to lasso that person and pull them back in. Dave Potter, again, over in the chat room, says sometimes you hang on to a friend that your other friends think you should walk away from. Maybe sometimes you're in a romantic relationship or a marriage that your other friends all around you wish that you'd walk away from for your own sake. You know somebody like that? I know people like that. And then you see when they break it off with that person, everybody around them goes, whew, we were wondering if you were going to pick up the hints. We're so glad that happened to you. Sorry you're going through it, but it was a good thing for you to go through that. That stuff happens. And hey, Michelle Cannon Free, I don't know if you're coming or going. She's saying hi to everybody and much love to everyone. So, hey, over there in the chat room. And so the third one is that your conversations feel stilted or repetitive. There's nothing new and nothing fresh about them. Now, I will say this, in a marriage or a let's say you're in a relationship where you've got children, you've got a house together, you share all your belongings together for the most part, and you share all your time together. If the conversations are stilted or repetitive, maybe it's time to find ways to freshen things up. And sometimes you get so used to being with somebody that there's a lot of unspoken, nonverbal communicating that goes on. So, hey, David Castle, over in the chat room. And so, while many friendships rely on this shared history, these anecdotal stories, some may find that repetitive conversation is a sign that the friendship's begun to stagnate. And in these friendships, a shared history or past gatherings come up, not because the friends truly care to share them, but because it feels like the only thing holding the friends together. And in those instances, the conversation can quickly feel boring, outdated, stuck. You're recapping all the same things you used to. Hey, let's talk about our fun memories together. And those may be signs that the friends are just growing apart. I've got some friends that you realize months have gone by, I haven't heard from that person. And when you do get the rare opportunity to talk to them, you find it's because you're the one reaching out. Do you ever feel like you are the only one in a relationship that's reaching out to the other person? I've had that a couple of times. I've got some very good friends in my life that are like that. I feel I'm the one always doing the reaching out. And if I didn't reach out, I'd have to ask myself the question, would they have reached out to me? Does that mean something has broken in that relationship along the way? It's just moved on in a different way. And what's interesting is sometimes nothing is different in their life. Nothing's really different in your life. I mean, overall, you're the same people, but just grows apart. Too much nostalgia, says Iowa X over in the chat room. It's like too much cake. It's going to make you sick. It does that. Leslie Holker says, nope. I'm not sure what you're noping to there. Was it something I said? Leslie says, or is it something they just don't want to deal with in your life? That might be. They might think that I don't want to deal with this stuff in that person's life. It's possible. Could it be that some of your friends don't like your spouse? And so they have cut you out because they don't like to encounter the spouse. I don't know. Niall Parkinson just asked, am I blocked? I don't know. I see you, Niall. See you over there. So now you're here. And so let's see. Matthew Sainsbury asked about Ruben Fasthorse. I think he's doing fine. He had the brain surgery a few months back, and so he's still recovering from that. He and I just talked recently. He was on the show recently, in the last week, wasn't it? So yeah, he's still around. And Ruben and I, there's a prime example of a relationship that went away completely. I hadn't seen Ruben for, my God, 10 years. And but I kept frequenting the same circles. And I asked around about him. I asked other Native friends of mine that were part of the reenacting circle. And they said, yeah, we heard Ruben has had some tough times. And I said, I have not seen him, and I don't even know how to get a hold of him anymore. The last I heard from him, he had been living with his wife and his small children up in northern Minnesota, up by Duluth. And after that, disappeared. Maybe 7-8 years, not 10. And so I reached out. I remember trying to find him. I had heard that he was struggling, and I had heard that he had struggles in his life. and really severe stuff. And my heart kind of broke over it. And I thought, I'm not the reason for this. This distance between us, there's something going on with Ruben. And I remember reaching out and trying to find him. I even called some of his family members who lived on the reservation out west of here, the Pine Ridge Reservation. And they are very suspicious of white people, Washti, that are reaching out. And I said, look, I said, you don't know me from Adam. I told a woman that was a distant family member of his. And I said, I'm looking for Ruben. And I said, there's not looking for him for any bad reason. I said, he's a good friend of mine. I love him. I miss him. I haven't seen him for a while. I said, if you know where he is, I said, you don't have to tell me. I said, but if you would be willing, would you pass my phone number on to him? Just give him my name and phone number. He'll know exactly who I am and want to talk to me. She said, okay. And and that's how Ruben and I reconnected. And that had to be, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. So sometimes there's tragedy. Sometimes there's heartache. Sometimes we know our friends who can fall into the pit, so to speak. Ruben was going through some dark times. He lost his wife and he lost his children. She moved them all back to Australia. And he had a tough time he was going through. And he's talked about this, so I'm not revealing any secrets about his life. He's talked about it on air. And so sometimes just reaching out and looking for someone and trying to find out, hey, what's up? You're my old friend. I haven't talked to you forever. Niall says, I think there are people you do not want to be around. Sometimes they can be people you go into business with. In fact, you should never go into business with a friend you love. That's I don't think the never. I don't like to put the never moniker on anything. I think sometimes it's wiser not to go into business with close friends. So you might be onto something there. So the fourth thing is you feel drained after your get-togethers with that person. Hasn't quite ended yet, but you've noticed this. And just as how you feel reaching out to a friend is a good indicator of how that friendship feels, one's feelings after a get-together often offer the same opportunity. And in friendships that are drifting apart, ending a get-together may feel like a relief. Phew, I'm glad that's over. I can go home now. Or, gosh, look at the time kind of reaction to things. And it might feel sad to reflect on how things, conversely, there are some friends I get with where I'm like, I said I'd be home by 11 o'clock. And it's 11 o'clock now. And I haven't even left. I don't want to have to go. And the other person doesn't want to have to go. And so I text my wife and I say, Rainey, I want to stay a little bit longer, hang out a little bit more. I said I'd be home by 11. She said, stay as long as you want. And meaning for the night, not forever. And so, there are those friends that are like that as well. The people you don't want to leave their company and they don't want to leave yours. That's a good sign of where your relationship sits. And these are all signs that friendship isn't in a healthy place and that members of the friendship might be going in different directions. The fifth thing is time goes by without connecting, and that feels okay to you. That's a sign that you're drifting away from somebody. Another sign that friends are drifting apart is that time and distance from that friend. You don't notice it. It doesn't feel bad. It's like almost a good thing. And certainly there's healthy friendships that go long periods of time without connection. They pick right back up where they left off. I had a guy that I still haven't talked to in years. Again, I hadn't talked to him in years. We were great friends in college and after college, and he was a friend with another good friend of mine, and we were kind of a little triumvirate of friends. And I called him up, about 8 years ago, out of the blue. And his ex-wife actually gave me his number. He didn't even know his current number. And his ex-wife and I were friends. We had done some business together. And so I called him up and we talked for an hour and a half. And then something came up when we were talking, and I was making a point about something, and I even remember what the point was. And we were talking about the passage of time between the ancient Sumerians and the biblical writers in the Old Testament. We just got on that topic. We were talking about one of my books. And I said, dude, I have got to go. I'll call you back. We'll pick this up where we left off. I think about 3 years went by. And we were just doing other things. And he's out of state. You know, we just don't have the same circles or the same life anymore. And I called him back up one day. He says, Scotty. And I go, so, like I was saying about that 1,500-year gap. And we both started laughing because he remembered the same thing we were talking about. And so some friendships just pick up right where you leave them off. And some thrive only on periodic get-togethers. But in some friendships, one or both of the parties notice the absence. And they're okay with it. They're even good about it. And so the ebb and the flow of friendships can be extremely painful for those experiencing it. But it's normal for friendships to change over time. And even extremely close friendships, that can be a normal thing that happens. And so I've also got in front of me the 4 signs that you've outgrown a friendship. As children, we learn that friendships last forever, right? Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. We see all the memes with Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And our friendships are Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh. There you go. So as children, we're taught and we learn through stories and other things that friendships last forever. Niall Parkinson says, I have a weird view of this. I value friendship above marriage. And the reason is that there's no expectation. I can kind of see your point there, Niall. I think there's always expectation in friendships, though. I expect that the people that I am friends with, that if I call them, they're there. Or if they call me, I'm there. At least I always try to be. If I had a friend call me in the middle of the night that I hadn't talked to in 8 years, I would get up and I would talk to them. And I'd spend that time. Unless it's somebody I don't really want to talk to. I've had that happen too. And so we have these expectations. Dave Potter says, Lewis and I are like that, years apart. Then boom, right back where we left off. Exactly. My friend Carr is like that. You know, we leave off and boom. I think, oh, have we worn out our friendship? And then he'll text me. Hey, what are you doing? Let's get together for a beer. You know, things like that. And so Leslie says, I love Winnie the Pooh, everything about it. I do too. There's something about Winnie the Pooh. That was actually strengthened by that song that Kenny Loggins and Messina did years ago. And then Kenny Loggins reprised that song, The House on Pooh Corner. Go listen to that if you never have. Listen to Kenny Loggins' newer version of that. Newer meaning 20 years ago as opposed to 35 years ago. So some friendships atrophy. They leave one or both parties in a friendship feeling unfulfilled, feeling frustrated. They drift away from a friend. They can feel confusing. They can feel painful. But these are signs that you may have outgrown the relationship. So the first of these 4 things is that the relationship is depleting rather than invigorating. Some friendships become depleting over time. What does a depleting friendship feel like? You might notice that you get a sickening feeling in the pit of your stomach. When the two of you are together, the conversation is all about them or tends to focus on subjects you don't care much about, and vice versa. In a depleting relationship, you might be asked to do a lot of emotional labor, such as being asked to support them while they repeatedly complain about their job or their spouse. And after hanging out with this person, you might feel exhausted. You might feel wrung out. You might feel used up. Oh, there are some people I've said to Rainey, well, I just can't talk to that person anymore. It's just always one crisis after another. Now, a true friend that is engaged with you in a friendship, those are the people you can complain to. They hear you out. You hear their shit. They hear yours. There are some people you walk away from where you say, some people are only compatible with an expired version of who I am or who I was. You get frustrated. You get angry. You avoid the potential conflict. You might vent about the friendship to others, and those friendships take far more than they give to you. You have those kinds of friendships where that friendship costs you more and takes more out of you than you get from it. That happens. The second thing here is that you become an expired version of yourself when you're with them. Ideally, a friendship grows with you. It allows you to be yourself as you get in the moment, but some friendships get stuck in the past, and one or both participants become expired versions of themselves. And in a stuck friendship like that, you might be called upon to joke about things that you no longer feel funny to you. You might be referenced as the class clown or the popular guy or the nerd long after you outgrew those monikers. And those types of friendships can feel stifling, like you can't be who you actually are anymore. Now, I will tell you this. There are very few situations I will get in where I can't be who I actually think I am or know myself to be. If I'm in a relationship and somebody thinks I'm something else, I go, dude, I don't do that anymore. I got no problem saying that. I go, hey, it's been so long since we've talked. You know that stuff? That's not who I am anymore. I do this stuff now. Niall asks, some friends, Scotty, you own to the death. Why? No one knows. I think that there's something more to that relationship. Perhaps that's the spiritual side of that relationship, if you will. There's a connection that goes deeper than the superficial ever did. Maybe there's a connection that goes into past lives. I don't know. Jury's still out on all that past life stuff for me because there's no way to quantify or qualify it. But I only say that to say I don't want to miss that point if it's there. Have you ever seen somebody or bumped into somebody you don't even know? And it's like that double take. It's like, well, I'm not talking lust or being horny. I'm not talking something like that. I'm talking about, I just met this guy and I'm drawn to that person. They seem drawn to me. What is that? You ask yourself. Maybe it's something much deeper that we haven't delved. Energy doesn't die. Maybe there's something that connects. I know there are people that believe that past souls keep reconnecting throughout time. I don't know if that's true. There are a lot of people who believe that. That can happen, says Matthew Sainsbury. So, David Castle in the chat room says, if you have one good friend, it's better than having 15 false friends. Loyalty and honesty are lost morals due to lack of connection with the Creator. Maybe so. The loyalty and honesty are morals that perhaps don't pervade some people. Niall Parkinson said, I think a true friend is someone you don't feel the need to make small talk with. I agree. There aren't many people I call my good friends that I feel I have a need to make small talk. Oh, well, so You get any new shoes lately? No? Okay. Pencils? Cool. Third thing is one person stops putting the effort into the friendship. Sometimes one person stops putting any kind of maintenance into your relationship. And in these friendships, you make all the plans. You make sure to follow up on all the plans to make sure they happen. You always offer to meet closer to them or to go to restaurants they prefer. You may check in after big life events, but not receive the same consideration. Okay. I'm giving you my life story right there with this list. You may request more, but find that the other person either will not or cannot comply. I've had some of my friends where very little conversation, and all these things met these criteria I just gave you, seem to fit the bill of people that I've known. And that's where you can say, okay, they've moved on. I don't matter to them anymore. When there was a time that I did matter to them very deeply. And so hello, Brianna Learman in the chat room. She's going, hello, hello, hello. I see you there, Brianna. So yeah, that happens. And I've had some friends that say I'm guilty of that. There are some friends I am guilty of doing that with. There are some friends that I can think of one in particular that has a certain set of problems that has never been resolved, and that's all we talk about. Whenever we get together with months and months or a couple of years in between, and it's like, oh, can't wait till my meeting with that person is over. So, Brianna's been dealing with house stuffs. She had a busy evening. She just got here. Well, welcome, Brianna. So, if you're the only one putting the maintenance into the relationship, the only one who makes the phone calls, the only one who sends the text messages, the only one who writes the email or sends the Christmas card, if you will, or reaches out, that tells you something. I remember I thought that about somebody just this last Christmas season. I thought we didn't do a Christmas card this year. We usually do a family card. And I thought, this person, I'm about ready to write them off because I'm the one doing all the trying. And you know what happened that very same day? Really nice Christmas card came from them. All personalized, all written on, all letter, and how you doing, and miss you, brother, and blah, blah, blah. So, it was interesting. Alternatively, you may notice that you're the one no longer putting effort into the relationship. You're the one doing this. Perhaps you're not as invested as you once were and rely on your friend to make gatherings happen. I tend to be somebody that will do all the investing until there's a point where I go, I'm done. I'm done investing my time. If that person doesn't want to reach back out to me after all the closeness we've had over the years, then I guess I'll just sit quiet. And if they want to reach out to me, I'll respond if they do. Niall says, my point is that true friendship demands more of a person than any other relationship, including familial and marriage. Usually one ex per family per lifetime. Well, my family requires a lot of me. I have to treat my wife, Rainey. She's more than a friend to me. If I just treated her like a friend or a buddy, and I didn't talk to her, that relationship would die pretty soon, pretty quickly. So the fourth thing is I feel guilty when we go weeks without actually talking to you or Rainey, says Brianna. That's why I'm happy that you're here, Brianna. Brianna is our old neighbor, for those of you who don't know. We moved away from that neighborhood last September. And John, I haven't talked to John, her husband, for weeks. But you know what? There'll be a day one of us will call each other, or he'll just stop by. He's just stopped by the last time. few weeks ago. It's like, hey, just stop by. Cool. Come on in. Don't mind the mess. And so, same with Brianna. We love you guys, but do we have the chance to see each other as much anymore? No. We lived across the street from each other, and sometimes weeks went by. Well, mostly the cold months where we didn't do anything together. And we didn't do anything other than say hi from the door to the driveway. Hey, hey. And that doesn't matter to me. It's the quality of the time that we have when we're together. And neither of us, any of us, want that to go away, as far as I know. So that's the things you invest yourself in. And there's also the point that you might not have anything in common anymore with somebody. You've outgrown a friendship, and if you no longer have anything in common, perhaps you were once a best friend but pursued different interests or education. And now you find that it's difficult to maintain an easy flow of conversation. So instead of discussions, they feel stilted, jumping from topic to topic or landing on a few limited areas of shared interest, and that's about it. You might feel confused or distressed during hanging out to realize that there isn't much of a thread between you anymore. So whether a friendship is from your childhood, college, adulthood, once deep ties can be incredibly painful to end. And these friendships are laden with a rich history, joyful memories, and hope for the future. But sometimes holding on to a relationship that you've outgrown can be more painful or exhausting and frustrating than mourning the loss and letting the person just go. And we've all had to run into that. We've all had to deal with that kind of thing from time to time. And so we're down to 2 minutes left of this show. So let me wrap this all up by saying that put yourself out to be the best friend you can be. And if things fall apart between you and a friend, it might be because they've taken a different direction or you've taken a different direction. And sometimes we have to live with that. So I always make myself available. I always make myself friendly to my friends. Like I was just talking about Brianna and John. If either one of them said, hey, I'm in the neighborhood, you guys around? Yeah, get over here. You know, we're just talking about the other day about saying, hey, we have to get together. We've got to do a little cookout or something now that's going to start getting nice. Let's get all the kids together and play. So there's that. That's the way you treat your friendships, especially the ones you want to keep, the ones you want to nurture, the ones that you want to have grow. There it is. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up because I got to get out of here, but on the radio station anyway. So we've got less than a minute left. So come on over to my website, scottallenroberts.com. You can find everything there is to know about me over there. And tomorrow night we'll be back. And I'm still up here. I'll be up north here all week. And then we'll pick up kind of where we left off with a new topic. So all of you, you know what? I want you to stay safe. Have a good night. And we will see you back here tomorrow night. Live long and prosper.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
And look at that. Just like that, we're back. So this is the after show, the Captain's Cabin. We'll see how long people want to go, and we'll see what's going on. And let me cut off the live stream right now. There we go. Boom. That's done. I'm going to unplug my headset. And let me turn off the recording for the archived show over on the radio station. And there we are. Leslie said, "Oh, I thought you were heading to bed." Sounded like it was a ta-da moment. Me? So no, I'm still here. Are you at a cabin? Says Philip Blair. It looks like it, doesn't it? Look at this pine room I'm in. Look at that ceiling and the slate floor down here. Oh, it's not slate, it's faux wood. No, this is my friend's house up in northern Minnesota. He lives about 3.5 hours north of where I am, north of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, up in the north woods of Minnesota. But there's bustling towns up here. It's not like we're in the wilderness or anything. And but yeah, basically, Philip, I'm at a cabin. It's their house. It's actually their old family cabin. That oh, there's Brianna. I saw her waving. Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you. I was just
Nice
thinking
to
of you
see you.
today. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought we all need to get together. So, kisses. Oh, but strawberry ice cream cone kisses. Yeah,
Oh my
baby.
gosh. They're so good.
They're too good because you can sit when you realize you look down and you've eaten a half a bag. That's where you go. Those are too good.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing about being up here, if I want snacks, I got to bring them. Both Andy and Reagan are. They're. I think she's a vegetarian. Very health conscious, both of them. But he took me out to Chinese buffet this afternoon, so he's
Yum.
not that health conscious all the time. But you go rummaging around here for a little snack. He says, "Hey, if we're gone or we're in bed already and you want to eat something, just go. The fridge is yours, man. Just go in there." You open it up, you know, and it's like, hello, 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 hello. But the
Hi, Uncle
snacks are
Dave.
like, so the snacks are like health food snacks and stuff like that. I mean, they are wonderful people. Don't get me wrong. I'm just making comedy out of it. That's all I'm doing. So, but it's
Yeah.
nice up here. It's quiet. I felt bad for Rainey today. She had a migraine today.
I saw that.
So what's going on with house stuff? Is it like you're buying a house now? Did that happen?
We'll see. I'm waiting for the email.
Okay. All right. I wondered if that had something to do with that. So, folks, you all know Brianna. Those of you, we're sitting here having a private conversation. Hey.
Like nobody else is here. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
I'm in
phone
the
keeps
chat
blowing
room
up.
too. So, just for everybody else. So, yeah. So it's quiet up here, and I've been writing all day, and I've been staring at this screen all day, and my eyes get so tired from staring. I step outside, and so at about 7:30, 7 o'clock. Yeah, there you go. I've got those too. I
That
got my
just
reading
messed with
glasses
my
on
eyes.
there. And after a while,
Ow.
yeah, you know, you're doing all your homework and your paper writing and stuff, and
Yeah,
your eyes
I'm
just
supposed to
go
be
wonky.
doing my last 2 finals right now, but
Yikes.
I was outside for like an hour today. Or
And then you'll be
outside
all done, and you'll have nothing to do for the summer.
until September.
Right. Do you have summer school?
No, I'm taking the summer off because we have Lindsay and Isaac's bachelor party next weekend. Like not this coming Saturday, but
Oh, right.
yeah. And then we have a weekend off. 2 weekends off. And then we have the wedding.
Yep.
And then if all goes okay, the following weekend, end of June, we'll be closing.
Nice. Fingers crossed. If I could cross my fingers.
Knock on wood.
Here you go. Oh, cross my fingers. I'm so inflexible. So
You can't cross your fingers?
I never have. Even when I was a kid, I just couldn't do it. Don't even do that. That's like gross. It makes me sphincter up. So, I'd say I can do it if I hold it. It's like, It's like I can only do this with one hand. I can't even do that with this hand. It's just like it doesn't work. Yeah, see,
John's home.
I can do the one hand. I've always been that way. I don't know. Is it flexibility? Do I have to work on? So,
Come say hi.
John here?
Yeah, he just walked in.
John, you don't want. I guess the friendship has gone on different paths.
We on the show?
There he is.
We
he's
are.
naked. That's why. Yeah, I'll come and say hi. I'm naked, but you have to deal with it.
Are you gonna try to fit your big butt in here?
No.
Oh, them's fighting words.
Oh. Okay.
Hey, brother.
What's up?
How
we
you
doing?
doing? Good to see
How's
you.
the show going tonight?
It went fine. We're in the after show now.
Yeah.
So-
okay.
It's 10 o'clock.
Oh, I suppose.
Philip Blair, I can play guitar. That's it. And not very well. I just told somebody today, somebody said,
How's it going, David?
I used to play
It's Uncle
a
Dave.
John
Oh,
Denver
sorry,
song in their
Uncle Dave.
backyard when I was in high school. And I said, that's where I learned to play guitar, listening to John Denver music in high school, back
Who's
when he was
that?
alive in the 70s. So, anyway. So, how's the job going, John?
Yeah, it's okay.
Eh,
It's
eh. So, you're working on your man beard.
Oh yeah,
You got that
it's coming out.
nice something to grab onto.
I'm looking to get down to about here.
Nice. I would do that if I had the patience for it.
All you got to do is just
Start
let it
growing
grow.
it out. You start shaping it, and then
You
you go,
have to actually get facial hair.
yeah, I got facial hair.
You just
It
shave
looks
some-
like
Lighter.
peach
It's
fuzz.
white facial hair now. See, it's all growing in.
Oh, we gotta dye your hair again.
Oh boy. All I do when I dye my hair is I look like an old guy trying to dye his hair. It just
You know,
doesn't
that was
work
the
like
first time we ever appeared on the show.
that. That's right. Yeah, she wanted to dye my hair.
Yep.
So she gave me some black stuff. I didn't do the black though. So
Was it
I still
black
have
or was
that.
it brown?
No, it was that
So
that
it's
Oh,
a
the black
keepsake.
blue.
black blue. Yeah.
It's a keepsake of our friendship. I've got the black. Or did I give that back to you? No, I had it for the longest time. I think I still have it somewhere. It's still in all the
Uncle
bathrooms.
Dave, I'll
Huh?
make you a chin wig.
I'll make you a chin wig, Scotty. Yeah, you could cut off half of his and you'd never know it. Just do a little
Comb over.
gluing it on.
Isn't that what you do? You could teach me how.
Yeah. Makeup. We used to do that all the time for stage.
No, I said a
Go
comb
the
over.
straight hair.
Yeah, comb over.
Oh, comb over?
Yeah, I said you could teach me how to do a comb over on my beard.
I don't have a comb over. I just have what's left and I do this to it. There it is. There's my comb over. There it is. So, wait, it goes this way. Wait, can't you see the part in my hair? It goes this way. So,
maybe I'll swing out there tomorrow for a little while.
yeah, I'm not home. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
up
that's
at
right.
Andy's. Here, I can take off the that.
yeah.
And
Oh,
we'll go
my
to
shoulder.
that. There you go.
Oh, my shoulder.
When are you coming back?
I don't know if I'm ever coming back.
Never.
Never. Sometime later.
You'd
this
never
week.
see me again in person.
I know. You'd have to come up here. It's only 3.5 hours. It's pretty easy drive. So you guys would enjoy it up here. It's gorgeous up here. But probably Thursday or Friday. All depends on how far along we get to finishing this book, and which we're pretty darn close. So, what's on the other end of the staircase, Scotty? Asked Philip Blair. That one back there? That staircase? Is that the one you mean? That goes upstairs. I'm in the downstairs of the house, and technically the basement. I got a huge window right here with the huge window well, and my eyes, like right now, my eyes are at ground level, looking out that window, and I can see the North Woods out there, and when it's not pitch black, and it's a big egress window here. It's like, God, it's like a room outside the window. So, but yeah, I'm coming back. If I wasn't coming back, I'd have my mics with me. No, Andy and I just said, let's make this week be a week where we just kind of burn this thing out if we can, and burn it and churn it and burn it. That's it. Leslie said someone could be starring in on you. You'd never know. Staring in on you, you'd never know. Yeah, from that egress window. Ain't that the truth? So, of course, the bed's over there in kind of a nook. So, you know, it goes off. It's back over there in the nook. And it's a nice big room. You know, oh, he's got these doors too. Those
I want them.
rolling doors.
Barn doors, yeah.
Those aren't bedrooms. There's a huge storerooms in there. You can walk all the way back in. They got shelves on both sides, and it's, you know, so it's pretty nice. And so it's not a big, it's like a cabin, but this place was a pit that their family owned about 10 years ago. This was a totally different place, and it was just a falling apart, crappy old up north cabin that wasn't even a cabin. And Andy bought it from the family, and he sunk a lot of money into this place because it's a gorgeous house now, and it's all done like this upstairs, and everything's the best, the top end of everything, and they're that way. So it's kind of fun. So, but yeah, I'll be up here. I'll probably be home on Friday. That's my guess.
Did Bree tell you about the house yet?
I didn't give
She
details.
just made brief mention.
Yep.
So where's this house?
Old farmstead. You know Four Corners, right?
Yeah.
2 miles south and 1.5 miles east.
Okay.
So
Are you talking Four Corners up by where you go east of New Richmond?
63 and 64?
Yep. I know where that is.
Yeah. So it's technically Glenwood City, but it's still New Richmond Township. Or
we looked at
a school district.
Glenwood City once, and we just thought, it's too far to go to the school, and or whatever. And we thought we're getting further out from the cities.
Yeah. It's literally 3 minutes down the road from my parents' house.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's 15 minutes from here, so.
Yep.
Yeah, we find out
about 25 minutes from our place. But
we find out Thursday. It's an old farmstead.
Knock on wood.
Well, so there was something, she had to fix some things in the amendum or something like that.
The addendum?
Addendum.
Yeah. I didn't have my glasses on when I read it. Yeah.
So, cool. Is it everything you want? Does it come with acreage?
It's got, so the house that we're potentially buying is on 1.3 acres.
Okay.
And then there's another section that butts up to it that is 3 acres.
Cool.
So 4.3 in total.
Mm-hmm.
The other portion has got a large barn, a machine shed, and a shop. And the shop is about 4 times the size of our garage now.
Nice.
That
will give you room to build your trailers.
I know. Yeah.
That's cool.
And the barn, the hayloft, is actually all concrete floor.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like heavy duty up there.
Nice.
So that's all storage.
Is it insulated? Can you heat it?
It's not insulated. It's no heat. It's just a hayloft, so it's just out of the weather. But I got plans to rent that out, and for people with boats or campers in the wintertime.
Cool.
So I could damn near pay my mortgage.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, good.
Hell yeah, I'm stoked. I really hope we get it. The house, it's a fixer upper, but that's my line of work. So
Yeah. If we ever needed anything fixed, we called John. John.
All together, we put in our offer for $220.
Not bad.
No, that's a hell of a lot of land for $220,000.
Yeah, it is.
So
what kind of reaction did you get? Are you just waiting to hear if they'll accept your offer, or
we're waiting to hear back on Thursday?
Yeah, so the realtor, that's why I keep going this way. She's texting me right now. She's fixing that, and then she said she's gonna finish writing up the offer and everything to be able to send over. So, and then they have until 10 a.m. Thursday to let us know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
but Neil,
we're hoping for you.
Thank you. Neil said, what did it say? Where are my glasses?
No. So I would just rent out the top of the barn, not the whole extra 3 acres.
Right.
Yeah.
So just for people to put their boats and campers in them.
Yeah. Is it an old house?
Built in 1950.
Like an old farmhouse, or is it newer? What?
1950.
1950. Okay. That's not a super old house. It's only 70 years old.
Yeah. It's got good bones. The foundation is solid. So
That's good.
Of course, Uncle Dave.
What's that? Oh yeah. There's an
Uncle Dave cottage on the property.
Yeah, there's actually a turkey farm in the back. A little shed.
Oh. It'll feel just like home. We lived across the street from each other, but we were right at the end of our street was the main road, and it was turkey barns over there, all lined over there in the fields. And sometimes in the summer, when it got hot and heavy and humid outside, man, those turkey barns came on strong.
I didn't even want to go outside. It was so bad.
Yeah. It smelled like you were in a sewage plant, is what it smelled like when you went outside. And it's like gross. So.
Yeah, we couldn't get the USDA loan. Iowa X said we got an FHA.
Oh, good.
He said it makes loans on properties like that if you do some type of agriculture.
Yeah, so
that's good.
The area that it's in actually alone is not in a USDA loan area. Doesn't cover there.
All right. Yeah, we could re-engage going back in and looking for our FHA loan. So stuff like that. So we could do that.
There's another house on the property, but they have an offer in hand. Literally within the same distance as what you were before.
Oh man, we should buy that house.
$199,000.
Oh, that's a pretty damn good price.
4-bedroom, 2-bath.
That 4 bedrooms. That's what we need. Well, we need 5 if we're going to do an office. It all depends on how they have room for office space, but for us. But yeah. Could you imagine we all buy our houses right next door to each other? Yeah. We'll be neighbors forever.
You'll hear my truck for years.
5 a.m. Oh, John's up.
Yep.
Grow hemp, says Dave Potter.
Yeah.
Hemp nothing.
What? Why would I want to grow hemp? Why not weed?
Why not weed? You make more money.
I would
Just-
divorce you.
Just for money, honey.
I would
Just-
divorce you.
We wouldn't do it to do anything illegal. We'd just do it to make money.
Don't
Set up a
matter. I would
painting
still
studio.
divorce you.
There you go. Well, we should look. I should talk to you later and get some information on that other house, just to look at it, just to see.
It's already got an offer in. They're
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says an offer in hand to see if they even get it. Do you have service on your phone?
I do.
I just sent the link of that the other house to you, not the
Frankly,
one we
this-
looked at.
The service on my phone is better up here in the North Woods with Andy's internet than it is back home.
Oh, I
with,
texted it to you.
the Somerset internet, such as it is. So, yeah, I'll have to see. I'll check it out. If you texted it to me, it'll be there. All right, cool. Right on. Groovy.
Oh, Leslie said Andy is hunting in Wisconsin turkeys as we speak.
Yeah.
Huh. Hands can be cut off, just saying.
Niall Parkinson said, I'm European. We believe every homestead is haunted in the USA. Pretty much is.
We're not thinking about that.
I'm not
We're not-
European. You're
You're not thinking about
European.
it? I'm not peeing. I'm sitting here.
European.
European, not me. What, Brianna? You don't want to know if there's ghosts in your house?
Nope. They can
Uh-oh.
GTFO.
Now you know what I'm going to fuck with you with all the time.
Yeah. There, I sent it on Facebook this time.
I saw it. It just came in. So cool. Friendship is a saving grace, Michelle Cannon-Free. Certainly is. So
No matter how big the age gap is.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
Dad.
I can't help it that you guys are kids. You know my twin daughters, Abby and Bryn?
Oh,
They're your age.
You mean Bryn and Abby?
you have twins?
I do. They're the same age as you.
Wow.
It's crazy. So you know what's funny about that, everybody else? We all became such good friends. Rainey's closer to their age than I am, because she's 20 years younger than I am. But I don't feel any different with them with John and Bree. We all goof around, fuck around, joke around, laugh, and drink and do stuff the way we would anybody else. And I don't know how noticeable it is to you guys when we're all together, but I don't feel any older when we're all hanging out.
Sorry.
We all just click.
I'm trying to find my charger.
Yeah.
The laptop's gonna die. We had to grab the charger.
Uh-oh.
Oh, leg cramp.
Oh, leg cramp live on air.
Yeah.
10:20 p.m. Brianna had a leg cramp.
Oh, it hurts. No, I
Ow.
can't even plug my freaking.
Got to get your husband to rub your leg.
Yeah, right. Can't even get him to do the dishes.
Oops. So
It's different when it's skin touching.
yeah.
You're
I'm touching
gross.
your skin. That's different than washing dishes.
Don't touch.
Truth. Well, I offered Rainey a full body massage for her for Mother's Day, and she goes, "Yeah," and it just never happened. we ended up going there. We went up to Barb's, and we went up to did this, did that, and by the time we got back home, it was like nobody thought about it. Niall Parkinson says, "So I like these people. They have a Dutch name, but this is cool." Learman. Is it? Are you guys Dutch?
German.
German.
Learman is German.
Oh, you are German. Yeah.
Si, senor.
Well,
Yeah, anyway, I thought
I'm a
that
melting
was
pot.
You
so-
told me what your maiden name was.
Who?
Such an archaic
Me?
term. Yeah, you. Well, no, John.
Wohlers.
What's John's maiden name?
Oh. Well, okay. So technically, my birth name is Larson.
Larson. Oh, that's very
And then I
strong
got
name.
my name legally changed to my stepdad's name which is Wohlers.
Okay. So
But
you're
when
by blood, you're a Larson.
yeah,
So you're Scandinavian,
German
German,
and Norwegian.
Norwegian. There's some Scandinavian there. See, you got the
Yeah,
look
I
of
guess.
Scandinavian. You got the blue eyes and blonde hair. I was going to say blue hair and blonde eyes.
It's okay.
Yeah. So you got the look. Norwegian, says Iowa X. Very big sale today. Ooh. Uncle Dave Potter, we all accept you like you're a normal person, Scotty. Well, thanks, Dave. You never get past the top half, Scotty. I'm not sure if I know what that
Massage.
means. Oh. Yeah. I see what he's saying.
Why does for men full body massages always mean like 3 areas?
I get to touch your boobs. And, stuff like that. I'm very good at massage. No, I did. Seriously, I've given her very good whole body massages. I mean, you go from top of the neck all the way down to the tips of the toes, flip sides, and I think I'm very good at it, if I do say so myself. And they take about an hour to an hour and a half to do, but then you're done and you're like, oh, I need a massage now.
Yeah.
I wish. Mine lasts 5 minutes.
I'm offering. I'm telling you, I do that. I'm good at it, and I would even be nice. I wouldn't be naughty or nothing.
I got a hydro massage yesterday.
Oh, in water.
Yeah,
Is that like a jacuzzi?
it was just like a reclining chair, but obviously I wasn't in anything. I was just laying on the chair, and it was hot water just shooting
nice.
jets at my back. Well, my body, but yeah.
How long did that last?
10 minutes.
Yeah, see?
It was at Planet Fitness, the gym.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I got burnt. But I think that might be from today.
From being outside today? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, Matthew Sainsbury says a lot of America's ancestors are either Irish or German in their family tree. Well, there's a fair number of those. So, Iowa X says Scotty's been playing the massage game for 50 years now. I didn't massage nobody 50 years ago. It started probably 40 years ago. I do massages. So,
Sorry, I'm reading what Neil said.
I like weed, but it always makes me feel paralyzed. I can't move, and when I can I eat tuna fish with cornflakes? Yum. Tuna fish and cornflakes because you've smoked pot. Yeah, I've not had any gummies since I've been here, so just
Well,
saying.
that's good.
So I might bring them home though.
Not for me.
Did I offer?
You looked at me like you were.
Oh, I'm bringing some home. But yeah, those were potent. So I don't know if I told you all this, but Andy gave me 3 of those, and his wife Reagan, she says, I only take a half of one when I take them. So
Sorry, I sneezed.
all right. Fish fingers and custard. Wow, fish fingers. They're going to be little. Gross. How many fish fingers does it take to get full? I caught this whole school of fish and almost got full. There's Kevin from Minnesota. I'm Minnesota, Swedish, and Irish. No German or Norwegian in my lineage. Swedish and Irish. I'm Ohio, Welsh, and Scott. So
You're from Ohio?
Originally, yeah.
Threw me
Ohio.
off.
Says
Oh.
the same thing backwards.
We got it.
What?
What do you got?
We just got the email to do our offer. So
Oh, you got the offer? All worked out?
we just have to sign it.
Okay.
So
Man, I hope you guys get that. That'd be fantastic.
Hell yeah.
We call it the Munchies in Ireland, says Niall. Well,
You can come out anytime. I'll throw a tent out there for you.
that'd be fantastic. A tent.
all
I'm
right.
eating Scottish shortbread, says Michelle Cannonfree. Look at the synchronicity around the horn today.
My chocolate. I better not have melted it.
Alrighty.
Oh,
You
you
need a
want to
whole
see the
bag of
puppy?
those. What?
You want to see the puppy quick?
Yeah, let's see the puppy. I didn't know you got the puppy.
We didn't. It's my parents.
Oh. Well, hi, puppy. Oh, he's pretty.
Gemma, look.
She.
Gemma.
Oh, she's pretty.
Gemma.
I know you're tired. You ready?
She's a purebred British Lab.
Nice.
Yeah, when she becomes old enough, my parents are actually going to start breeding her.
Oh, cool. Nice. I could do a purebred British Lab.
Yeah, except for they go for $2,000 a pop.
Oh, not for that price.
Yeah.
I could steal one for cheaper.
But she's got all the papers and everything to prove the bloodline.
Mm,
You have to spend like $90 to register them.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get a registered purebred,
AKC or whatever it
you have
is.
a purebred that has bloodlines, it's good to register.
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit
Well-
says it's humane fish farming. They only harvest the fingers and let them just stub it around in fish retirement after harvest. There you go. See? Humanity speaks. Yes, it is, Niall. Yes, it is. Dave Potter is a motorhome. I'm sorry, it's
We
not
got
a
space for
motorhome.
you to rent it
It's a
if it gets accepted.
Yeah. There's always a place for you, Dave, as long as you've got an extension cord.
And when you have to empty the tank, just do it on the neighbor's yard.
That's it. Where's the property line?
Or in the farm field behind. Go fertilize it.
There you go. That was always gross when I was down in Louisiana, and 3 years earlier when I was out in Montana, Wyoming, and Utah, emptying the toilet facilities from the camper.
I would throw
Make sure you
up.
have it screwed down nice and tight.
It ain't that bad.
Nah, it's just watching it because you had a clear tube.
Yeah.
You know? Got to watch it. You go, oh, that was from last Thursday.
Yeah.
I recognize that.
That was taco night.
I know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Look, you can still see the corn.
Oh, cool.
Oh, shut up. You're
Don't
disgusting.
get too grossed out. It was once stew.
Oh.
Wait,
Uh-oh,
was that
field guy's
facility?
on.
Oh my. You okay over there?
Field guy's on.
Oh, field guy's there. Shh, quiet. He'll never know you're here. Someone woke me up, he said. Well, hey, how you doing, field guy? Nice to have you. Never fertilize with human waste. No, 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 says Uncle Dave.
Gross.
Now, if Scotty had opened a phone line, I would have told you a true story of friendship. But there's no need. Here it is. Oh, you want to come on? Give a call, Niall.
We should probably
Bring
get
you
off anyways to go sign that so she can send it over.
Yeah, it's a school night.
Yeah, I gotta be up at
It's only
5.
Tuesday. I feel like it's like Thursday already.
No, sir.
So I've been working pretty hard up here on this book, and you just lose track of time. So.
All right.
All right. Well, we're gonna head
Oh, you
out.
did see the pictures, by the way. My friend Andy, the tree last night fell on his truck.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
Is the tree okay?
tree's gonna make it. No, it did $7,000 of body damage to his truck.
Oh.
Could have been way worse.
So,
Did you see the pictures? Oh my god.
All right.
and,
Let's see if I can find them.
yeah, it came down in the big winds last night, coming off the lake.
It lasted all of 10 minutes here.
Wow. Yeah, it was pretty blowy up here. So
Who's that? Oh, it's Bryn.
needs to be Friday afternoon already, says Field Guy. Yeah, $7,000 is ouch, all right. So it's got a big Ram pickup truck. A lot of the bells and whistles on it, but I think
Oh,
it's
it's
mostly
just
body damage.
Just a little tree. Ain't that big.
Not a bad tree either. Yeah, it was a dead, tall pine tree.
Yeah.
That just blew over.
Could have been way worse.
Yeah.
Uncle Dave says, good luck on the house.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, let us know what's going on. You got junk going all weekend. So I was going to say on the weekend, you guys should try to slip over.
Maybe
Oh, shoot.
Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Maybe.
Yeah, we could do that.
So.
We're
Yeah.
always there.
All righty. We'll see you
All right,
guys
guys.
later.
Bye.
right.
Bye.
you.
Have a good
Bye.
time.
Love you.
Bye. And there they go, the Learmans. The Learmans of New Richmond. So, well, guys, I hate to say this. I'm worn out. I'm done. My eyes are baked. I know Niall was thinking of calling in. Niall, do you still want to call in? We can sit and chat a little bit. I'm just about ready to be done for the day. I'm tired myself, says Matthew Sainsbury. Well, it's an hour later there. You've been up an hour longer than me. So I'm amazed at how tired my eyes get. When my eyes are tired, my whole body feels tired. It's like my eyes feel like they want to suck my head in, you know? And when your eyes feel tired, your whole face feels tired. And when your whole face feels tired, your body feels tired. Homesteaders. Baked ice. Gummies, said Michelle. Yeah, one final call. Do you have the link or do you need me to throw the link out there? Let's see. I'll copy it to the clipboard and paste it right here. Paste and hit send. There's the link to get into the studio. Well, your head and brain is everything to the body. Ain't that the truth? Painting update went out today. Are you done? Is it done? It's never done. You could be working on that for 4 more years and you'd still find things you'd want to fix. It's the way that stuff goes for artists. Oh, Field Guy was here at 9 p.m. And fellas, if you were here at 9 p.m., I didn't see you. I don't think I did. Busy week. I'm trying to finish the mural. I have a 7-course dinner for about 100 people on Friday. Nice. Is that at the lodge? Hey, Wilma, Bonnie, and I are going down to the lodge. The Royal Order of Water Buffalo. Getting close, he says. Getting close. I know that feeling. From what I've seen, it looks pretty good, too. Hey, Niall.
Hey, let me disconnect from YouTube.
All right.
Scotty,
How you doing, Niall?
great.
Fantastic.
That was a great show. That was a great show.
Oh, thank you.
Only somebody like you would probably understand what I mean by that. The friendship idea, you just saw it in motion tonight.
Oh,
And I guarantee you that's going to give you, I know you're getting tired now, but it's going to give you a second wind. And
yeah.
I'll tell you exactly what happened in tonight's show. All right.
All right.
People gathered around you. They admire you. You have no idea how much they love you. You have no idea how much they depend on you for their everyday lives, without being patronizing towards those people at all.
Sure.
So friendship is a beautiful thing. It supersedes marriage. I think you get it, Scotty. It supersedes everything. Friendship is, I think, something that is unspoken and forgiven before you even say the words. It doesn't matter what horrific thing. If you borrowed $15,000 from this person and you screwed them out of it, if you like this person, you will forgive them.
Yeah.
That's what friendship is. And I think that's what you're getting at in this program. At least that's what I got from it. And I can't pronounce their name, at this stage of the night. The Liebermans. What a beautiful couple.
They're great.
What a beautiful, they love you. They're friends of yours.
I love them. My wife loves them. They love my wife. It's we have a great friendship.
Yeah. So it's like friendship is not something that you can define. It's not like it's not like a contract.
Yeah.
It kind of blindsides you. And I think you got blindsided by their approach to you tonight because that was just so natural and beautiful.
Natural and beautiful is exactly true. That's a good descriptor.
Yeah. So, that's what I wanted to offer to this.
Thank you for that.
And I suppose I feel the same way about you, even though we might argue at times, especially on social media, get
arguing between friends. It's just reasons to have
all of this is superfluous, because
I love Michelle Cannon Free. There you go.
Yeah.
Michelle. Yeah, arguments between friends are reasons to have a pint. That's the way I see it, or whatever.
But what I wanted to ask you, Scotty, specifically, is there one specific friend that you were thinking? Because I suspect there is.
There is. There's. I have one that I mentioned specifically in a story. I won't name him, of course. I don't think that's proper, but I talked about him. He was the friend that was my friend for almost 30 years and decided he didn't want to be anymore. Okay, because of my politics. He blamed the politics. And he started out by blaming my daughter had dated his son. God, before they even went to Hawaii. So this is, almost 10 years ago. When they first started their business, they were dating 11 years ago. And they broke up, as young relationships do. And I never heard anything negative about it, but that all came up a couple years ago. And your kids and my son, and they left they were living in and they did this and they did that. And I'm like, dude, why didn't you say anything to anybody? If there was a problem with physical premises and things like, why didn't you say something? My daughters didn't even know this. And, but you know, he just he needed to have a reason. And then it came down to, well, you're a Nazi because you voted for that Nazi and stuff. And I said, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. You can say that to your friends. That's dumb. I said, come on.
Maybe that was the only way he could make contact with you, is say, listen, I can't believe you support this idiot. So, you know, hi, how are you doing?
And we got to talk, but he didn't want anything to do with me. Don't ever talk to me again, he said.
No, that's horrible.
That guy, we can't be friends. And I said, well,
that's an example of, you know, that's an example of manipulation and kind of,
it is,
you know, and friends on command, you know.
I told him he has a pretty cheap price tag that he put on our friendship after 30 years. So if all it takes is political ideology, I said, you and I aren't doing anything to affect each other adversely. We're still friends.
Exactly. And it's like, I mean, the reason I'm here tonight is because even though I got blocked like multiple times from your channel, is because I like you, you know, and
I'm glad you're here. I like you too. I don't. If I didn't like your input, I wouldn't mention you so much in the show.
I don't agree with your politics, but who cares?
Okay.
It's like, and in fact, the strange thing is about your shows recently, Scotty, is they kind of come full circle. It takes someone like me to come on and say, listen, Scotty, I think this show was about friendship, but it ends up with something else. You know?
Right.
And then I come on and say, well, you know, it actually is about friendship.
Yeah.
It's about what you relate, how you can relate to people. You know, and you know, I mean, the Liberals were wonderful. Yeah, I think they're wonderful people who are trying their best, and they just support you. But I'm here for the nitty gritty. I'm here for the stuff that
I know. And you know, people come to this show for different reasons. You come because you want to dig in to this deep, and you want to express some deep things, and some people don't like you for that. He's taking up too much airtime. No, I said, no. I said, Niall speaks his mind and he wants to know. He doesn't ask because he's trying to make trouble. He asks because he wants to have a question answered.
No, I can call you all the words narcissistic asshole who is with a superiority complex. Even at one stage, a messiah complex, which I never introduced. You know, it's like
complex is in stasis.
Yeah, it's like, but it's all good fun to me. It's extremely entertaining, but also extremely interesting. You know, as a European, I mean, you're very few, Scotty, very few, a handful of Europeans.
Yeah.
And
one of my name probably 6 Europeans that come and listen to the show on a regular basis. So.
And the ironic thing is, my best friend is from Tennessee, who you know well. I've told you about him before, and you were like, "Who the hell is this?"
Yeah.
We spent hours talking together. And
That's like, great.
He's just so in tune with me, and I'm so in tune with him, which is scary. And some of your listeners might think, what is this guy talking about? Friendship.
Yeah.
It goes right back to your initial. It's your meme. It's the title of your show tonight, Scotty. Yeah. Friendship. And what does it mean? Friendship is endless. Once you meet a true friend, it doesn't matter what you've done.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you betrayed them. It doesn't matter how much you screwed them over for money. It doesn't matter how they turned their backs on you. It doesn't matter what they did. If you really like this person, your friendship will come around.
That's it.
You know, and that is I think I've encapsulated that.
You have. And I've said that I've had people who've owed me money. I've owed people money. I've said to my friends that I don't put a price tag on my friendships. If I had somebody owe me $15,000 and they couldn't pay it back, I'd say, I hate that, but I've been there. I know what it feels like.
It will be different if they said, I never owed you that.
I crave my friends' love and their rather than their money. Okay, it's money. It's valuable. I get that. We could use it. But if they don't have it, they don't have it. And it's like, so now because you don't have the money I loaned you, that means I can't be a friend of yours? I don't love you anymore? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that's frustrating, but let's move on.
Yeah. So, and I suppose that when it comes to money is a good point to bring up, because money is the number one breaking point of any relationship.
It is.
For any reason. No matter how deep the relationship is, money is the one that breaks people up apart. Now, say you had, somebody who you really liked, I'm kind of androgynous when it comes to people in general. I don't think they're female or male or whatever. I kind of mix them in. If I'm in love with you, I'm in love with you. So if you need money, I'll give you money. If they deny the fact that I've loaned them money, or they spin me a line of crap and say, "Oh yeah, I'll pay it back next week," but if they say, "No, I can't pay you back," that is a true friend, and that's a sign of a true friendship, and that's the kind of person that you will do anything for.
Yeah,
and as I alluded to in the chat room, that kind of relationship is more important than marriage in some cases. Because
I can see that.
When you take marriage, friendship takes a lot more work than marriage. And just think about it. So
I think marriage takes a lot more work than friendship, only because friends, your friends are your friends. Marriage takes work because you are in that permanent relationship, permanent quote unquote, and you're working.
You're kind of stuck with it.
In a way, and in this day and age, you can walk away from anything. That's the thing. There's very little stigma anymore. So it's not so much that as it is
betrayal. Scotty, I'll put the words in your mouth. Betrayal.
Yeah, I don't want to have a marriage that I have to work hard at. Marriage should be something, if you love somebody, that should be something that's easy to do. And it's easy on both. Like, I'm here at my friend Andy's house, and I'm writing this biography for him. And he's writing a lot of stuff, sending it to me. I'm rewriting it, and I'm writing things, adding things. And he's at a place where he was a little uncomfortable with it at first. Why should I write? Who's going to read a book about me? And I'm the one who kind of put the idea in his head last year. And I said, because, Andy, you've been successful. People like to hear success stories. I said, but at the same time, show your dirty laundry too. Be open, be honest about it. Mark Twain, in his own autobiography, said there's not a man out there that can write his own autobiography because they're always hiding something. And he said, so there's always something they don't want everybody else in the world to know. And so I said to my friend Andy, I said, so I've been interviewing his relatives and interviewing other people he knows, and we've been writing this book. And one thing I have found is his relationship with his wife is incredible. They are so suited. They've been married 20 years. They have one kid who's grown up, 18 or 19 now. They are people that are so together on everything. They're so compatible. Compatible is not the word. That's because that's a cheap word. Compatible.
Yeah,
Are you compatible with your spouse?
it's
I don't care. It's not what it's about. But they are genuinely people who are made for each other.
connected in some way, I suppose, or fundamentally connected.
Right. And she reads and she knows what to do. Now, there are thoughts in my head sometimes that go through, well, they're millionaires. Maybe part of that comfort zone is they don't have to worry about getting by anymore.
Yeah.
And so they're younger, they're 10 years younger than me.
Mm.
And so you look at that and you go, maybe there's a certain comfort level they've reached because they have worked so hard to get where they are.
Plus,
Now
the
they're there and they don't
kids,
have, the worries regular people have.
plus that, yeah, exactly. And the kids are just kind of
Right.
They have the latest Xbox or whatever the latest video games are. Just put them in their room, which is the size of my apartment, and just chill out there. And so if you have a teenager, they go there, and if you have a young child, and you probably have a maid who comes in during the day, you might have a childcare. And the parents who are very well off, they're the worst parents of all because they're like children themselves, because they can pay for everything. Well,
right.
I don't have to be responsible for this young person. I'm not really even sure if I love the person I'm married to. So let's just, pay somebody to bring up our kids,
Sure.
And that a lot of red flags there, a lot of red flags,
Sure.
A lot of red flags.
Well, I admired these two. Can you be older than somebody and admire them for what they've achieved and the life they have together? Sure, you can.
Of course you can.
And
as a parent and father, though,
yeah. And and I was writing about them just today. I was writing about things about their relationship in this book, and it's really neat and it's spectacular. And I asked them because I got the story from them on how they met, and I got it from Andy. And he was a mechanic in a shop, and she stopped in with she had an old Volkswagen Beetle or Bug that needed a windshield, and then she said, "Hey, I got an old Volkswagen bus, the old hippie vans that needs work. It's not working. Can you look at it?" And sure, and she loved his work, and she ended up asking him out, and they went to dinner, and the rest is history. And they hit it off.
Do you believe that story, by the way?
Say again?
Do you believe that story, by the way?
I do, because I went up and I asked them. I said to Andy, I said,
because it sounds a bit too James Dean, a bit too.
It's who they are. It's the kind of people they are.
Okay.
And I've known them long enough. I've known them almost since they were married. Probably 2-3 years into their marriage. And they're genuine people, which is very cool. And so I asked Andy, I said, now tell me, today I went up there and I said, I got a question. So tell me truthfully, when you met Reagan for the first time, I said, she walked into that shop and you were, in the way he wrote it to me and sent it to me, he says, I was tasked with helping her out and I sold her a windshield and one thing went to and I said, and then she asked you out. And I said, okay, so tell me honestly. I said, what went through your mind when you saw her? I said, she's a gorgeous woman, brunette. I said, what was it? I said, and be honest, did you have
love at first sight?
Love at first sight, lust at first sight? What was it that motivated you? And he said, yeah, she was good looking, all right. He said, ain't no question. And I said, what was she wearing that day? And I said, I envisioned the red dress I've seen her in pictures in. And she came out of the other room and she said, I was wearing, she said, a black dress and a white tank top with spaghetti straps and no bra. And I said, well, there you go.
Well, that's perfect, and
And
I believe that, because that's very
and
specific.
then Andy said to me, it was something very interesting. He said, for as good looking as she was, he said, what I liked about her was that she was awesome. She was an awesomely cool person. And the more they got to talking as he was working on her stuff and she brought her other car in, he says she was just an awesome person. And that attracted me to her. And the rest was history. And they have always been the way they are now, even when they didn't have money, when I knew them. 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. They were always genuine, good, big-hearted people. And Andy,
But that's rare. That's rare.
And he's pulling no shots in this book. He said, he says, I was a thief. I was a con man. I was all kinds of things, everything to get the buck in the door. And I was a mechanic. I was a bad boy and all this. And he said, and I wrote this into the book today. He said, the thing about Reagan, when I met her and she asked me out and we went out, he said, all the things that I was already starting to just starting to try to work on to make myself a better person, she made that process speed up because I wanted to be that for her. And they are, and he said, honestly, he says, this woman is the best thing that ever happened. No cliche, the best thing that ever happened in my life. And so I took and I entitled this chapter. I just have to share this with you. It's right up here in this other program. It goes like, I entitled the chapter, I Stole a Line from Casablanca. And let me see if I can find out exactly where that is. So I can read it word for word without fucking up the line. And you'll know what the line is as soon as they start saying it. It's all the way back here, way back here. So as the chapter header, I put, of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine. And the chapter starts by saying, in the summer of 2000, while working as a mechanic for a little air-cooled Volkswagen shop in Hopkins, Minnesota called Dune Buggy Supply, my life changed forever. And I go into talking about how he met Reagan, how she walked in. And
these are amazing things that happen to people. I was speaking to a friend of mine who you know for 3 hours earlier this evening. We speak at least 6 hours in a week. And he told me exactly the same thing. She was the one, in my case, I value friendship over love simply because that's my own failing or failure. I don't automatically feel love for another person. I'm getting older now, so in my earlier years it was mostly lust, or whatever. But love, no, I never had that. Ding.
Let me just say to Michelle Cannon-Free, yes, in a way. It started out, this whole book, Michelle, started out as, Andy said, would you write this book for me, ghostwrite it? And I said, sure. And then he said, oh, hell with the ghostwriting. I want you to have credit for it if you're going to write it. And then he started writing out sections for me. Let me write this down so you have this information. And I'm taking that now and I'm expanding on what he's written. Lots of expansion. Let me give you an example. And Niall, you can hear this too. Michelle, this is an example. That little chapter I just started, he said, he started it by writing, he said, I met Reagan in the summer of 2000 while I was working as a mechanic for the Dune Buggy Supply. And he said, how did he put it? He went right on from there to say, how did he say it? I was working alone that afternoon. And she came into the shop and needed a windshield, and I sold her one. And then she said she had a van that needed work, and so I told her to bring it by. I looked at it, and she liked it, and then she asked me out to dinner, and then I married her. This is the way he wrote this. And so now I'm going to give you an example, and Niall, you too. Annie and I think a lot alike. When we get down to core philosophies, even though, guess what? We're on different ends of the political spectrum. We don't care what each other thinks politically.
Yeah, but you're both romantics.
Yeah, we are.
On some level. Yeah.
And so here's what I wrote about that. I put in the summer of 2000, while working as a mechanic for a little air-cooled Volkswagen shop in Hopkins, Minnesota called Dune Buggy Supply, my life changed forever. Now here's what I added. Fate is a funny thing. I tend to trend away from being a fatalist, as I am of the firm belief that we're all capable of making our own choices that dictate the corkscrewy courses of our life that they may take at any given turn or crossroad. Our stars are there to be changed, and our destiny is there for the making at the behest of our own hands. Somewhere, this can all tie into free will, but I'm not going there today. Perhaps there are even different destinies within the great multiverse of dimensional time streams that experience different sets of circumstances for our other selves in other dimensions, other dimensional streams, in accordance with string theory. If I lost you, don't worry. That's all for the future. For the further, we'll delve into quantum physics.
You certainly have not lost me, but you might have lost him.
There you go.
I think the points you make in that small section, it's probably no more than a paragraph. Scotty, is exceptionally profound. But for many people, they'd be like, "What?
Well, listen. Here's
what on earth are you talking about?"
Here's how I go on with this. He said, I have him saying, "If I lost you, don't worry. That's all the further we'll delve into quantum physics for today, as those things fall too far under the purview of theoretical physicists and science fiction writers for me to wrap my head around in this context. Moving on, ... While I am by far no stick in the mud, my head remains pretty much planted in the terra firma of the here and now. What do I care for theoretical definitions or destinies when I have the power to affect who and what I am within the where and how of my existence? All of that to say that while I'm the engineer and mechanic of my own destiny, I still have an understanding that fate can sometimes come off the bench in the middle of the game and carry the ball a few yards. And that, I believe, is what happened on the day that Reagan walked into my life. And all I needed to do was recognize it. I was working alone that afternoon in the dune buggy shop, as everyone else was out running errands or gone to lunch, when the shping came over the loudspeakers, announcing that someone had walked in through the front door. An unseen voice called out, "Hello!" I shouted back that I'd be right up, and I grabbed a rag to wipe the oily tarnish off my hands. As I rounded the corner to the front desk, still wiping my hands, a woman standing in the small front lobby came into view. She smiled at me. Now, as we all know so well, a man in the presence of a beautiful woman tends to stop thinking clearly, and being the product of evolutionary instinct, begins to be governed by his physiological wiring. And sometimes. And 9 times out of 10 devolves to pretty stupid pretty fast, unless he kicks his higher logic into action, which thankfully I had the presence of mind to engage. As the very polished and professional, "Good afternoon, I'm Anton, how can I help you?" came out of my mouth, my brain absorbed the person standing before me. She was indeed beautiful, long brunette hair, pretty face, athletic build, clothed in a black dress and a braless white spaghetti string tank top. My professionalism wanted to drop to the floor along with my jaw, but I kept my cool and my common sense firmly in place. And this is also a very good place to state emphatically that at the moment of our meeting, I was not impressed only with her good looks, but also with how she carried herself. She seemed from the very first to be an incredibly awesome person who had something I found myself admiring, and eventually desiring. She had that certain, I don't know what, that je ne sais quoi. Anyway, as it so happened, no one else was around, so I was tasked with helping her. Lucky me. Her name was Reagan. She had a vintage Volkswagen Bug that needed a windshield. Of course, I sold her one. And then I go into the whole thing of how they were chatting, the small talk, and she brought the thing in a few days, showed up back at the shop. She asked him out. And he said, she must have been impressed with me because next thing you know, she asked me out to dinner. The dinner date happened to coincide with my 30th birthday, and we had a really good time. Fate, we've now been married for 20 years and still counting. And meeting Ray was without a question the very best thing that ever happened to me. As a matter of fact, I would qualify it as the very best thing in my entire life.
Man, it's absolutely beautiful. And as a work of philosophy, you know, it is actually a work of philosophy that you're writing.
There it is, Sean Stroik. You're right. My logic is drowned in a sea of emotion, you said.
Yeah, it's very romantic.
Yeah,
but it's a philosophical kind of approach to love, and I would say slightly naive,
maybe,
and
it's meant to be.
romantically
It's
romantically kind of geared towards.
It's telling their very real story.
Yeah, but
and
it's.
creating.
I know where you're coming from, Scotty.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not want to go down the romantic road.
Yeah.
What you're writing here is philosophy, right?
Yes.
And the relationship between synchronicity and love at first sight, which is it, you know, and
It can happen. Yeah.
kind of a drawing together of disparate parts. You know, that's the kind of cosmic influence. But it's a work of philosophy, but it's also hopelessly outdated. If you were to say to any 16-year-old, what do you think of this? They'd be like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then again,
Are you kidding me?
again, it's only outdated so far as somebody is not willing to accept that it's not outdated at all. It's outdated by social, by societal norms have changed to a certain degree, and we don't do
Yes,
that anymore.
I agree.
But I also think that this is a story that a young person could read and fall in love with it, if they allow themselves to read it.
If they allow themselves, I think that it depends which generation. If you're talking about our generation, Scotty, forget it, right?
Yeah.
We can only look at this as kind of observers, and we can look at this as like the old grandfathers, and we can kind of go. We're actually in a unique position, I think, you and me, that we can look at a time when the internet did not exist, and we can look at the time when the internet is all pervasive. We can kind of stay in the middle, and we can kind of go, well, but then we turn into crotchety old bastards who kind of say, "Oh, that's not right. That's not right." You know, it's like, you know.
Iowa X just said, "Sounds like you wrote it over 100 years ago, except for the quantum stuff."
Yeah, but
you know what's interesting about them is that while they are exactly as I have described them, they are also a high-tech family. Andy is all about tech. Everything is tech. This is a smart house, smart cars, smart. He's an Apple guy, so he's got a lot of Apple stuff around here. He's got everything just so, and
that means nothing at the end of the day.
All it means to me is that they're on the cutting edge of technology while they are still could be deemed old-fashioned in the way they feel toward each other. So,
Absolutely. And the more cutting edge technology that there is out there, I think the further apart people get, and this goes back to what you're talking about, friendship, is that friendship is almost like the connection between what people aspire to these days, but they can't quite get. They can get through their smartphones and their TVs and their salary and their big cars. I'm talking about very wealthy people, obviously, and but they can't quite aspire to the aspect of friendship or love or companionship, which is, let's face it, nobody in 2020 or 2021 or 2022 will ever understand exactly what we're talking about, except for a philosopher, of the past, an historian who studies the past and sees how it has developed into.
And see, what I've tried to do is bring in that feeling of the old romantic and mix it with the philosophy of dealing with quantum physics. Why does this exist? So Michelle Cannon-Free said, my 22-year-old is a romantic. I'm a romantic. I said, that's the first time reading that tonight, just now. That's the first time I've read back through that since I wrote that this morning, early this afternoon. And I just read back through that, and it goes, that hits my heartstrings. And
because it's important to you, Scotty. It's part of who you are.
Romantic. I want to be relevant as well. So
and you are. I mean, it's like, there's a reason I'm here, right? There is no reason for an Irishman to be on an American channel, which is kind of,
which is funny,
which is really kind of right wing and Christian. I have no idea how I even started. He does the tarot. He does this. He does that. And I abused you. I insulted you. I insulted everybody in the chat room. But yet, here we are.
Here we are.
If that, what the hell is friendship if that is not friendship?
That's friendship.
It's not. Doesn't mean that I want you to come and stay in my house, or I'm going to invite you, to Lake Tahoe for the weekend or anything like that. But it means that it means what it means.
Mm-hmm.
It means that anger amongst friends is very important. Anger amongst married couples is very, very hit and miss, and it can come and go, and and before you know it, you're divorced, right? Anger amongst friends is like, I don't want to curse here on the channel, but you've effing, I never want to see you again. And the next time they show up, you give them the biggest hug, right?
Yeah.
It's because these people, because they don't want to screw you over. They don't, even if they've owe money to you, or they've let you down in the past. It doesn't matter. You have a connection with these people, which is much more profound, as I was saying in the chat room earlier on, than you might have with your own wife. And also, I will say, it doesn't have to be from a member of the opposite sex.
Right.
I mean, it's like, it doesn't care. It's like friendship is kind of universal. If I love you, it's because there's something about you that I really, really aspire to. And that's great about friendship, because we kind of build each other up with friendship. Like my greatest friends will always tell me, no, when you're feeling this way, I'll bring you this way. How many wives will tell you that?
My closest friends that I love dearly are all men. I don't have relationships with women like I have with men. And this is a conversation for another time, a topic for another time. But I am of almost that strict belief that men and women can't be friends the way men and men can be friends. Every woman I ever got close to, I ended up in bed with. And sometimes that ruined relationships because it changed the whole complexion. Not because
Of course.
sex was bad, it was because it changed the complexion of the relationship. And I didn't used to believe in that. I said, we can do whatever we want and still be friends. And it never did happen. I'm friends with Brianna. Now that's different, though, because I'm friends with them as a couple. Could I be the kind of friend with Brianna that I am now, knowing that they're married and my wife and I are married and we're all friends together? If it was just Brianna and I, no, probably not the same kind of friendship, because different things happen to single people who get close that are of the opposite sex that are drawn like that. And there's age difference, all that. There's a lot of variables there. I'm not.
Yeah, it's a lot of variables.
I shouldn't say.
I'll give you an example, Scotty.
Yeah.
You can cut me off now because I know it's getting late.
Sure.
You're probably getting tired. But I'll just give you an example. I have an ex-girlfriend who we were almost married, and I have a particular problem where I don't really associate love with marriage, or love and marriage like a horse and carriage. I didn't believe in it. I was quite happy to for her to accept who I was.
Mhm.
I didn't demand children, but she did. So it was a huge sticking point. So we left each other, obviously. Sure. She went and she called me years later and said, "No, Jesus Christ, I missed you." I says, "Great, I missed you too." And so I got to know her children. I got to know her. We never slept together again, and it was like a kind of a very it was a miraculous kind of meeting of minds where she will say, "Are you okay?" Because she knows I live on my own and I'm unwell these days with my MS, etc.
Good night,
So
Barbie.
she will call. So, so it turned into a beautiful friendship. And that friendship was more powerful than our relationship. And her children love me more than they ever did when we were struggling to be a couple. It's like, I didn't want to be in a relationship. I didn't want to get married. It's just, what the hell? I mean, I didn't understand. I just automatically presumed that's what you did. When you meet someone, you kind of get married and do these things. But as time went on, like 20 years or so later, I can condense it very slowly, very quickly for your audience. But over 20 years, and it's because kids grow up. She actually said to me at one stage, "No, I need your help." She didn't talk financially. She talked emotionally. They loved you. I says, "Really?" "Yeah. My son is on cocaine. I need you to talk with him. I need you to be here for me." And that was a shot out of the blue after 18 years. Mm-hmm. And it was not like we're getting back together unless I'm not manipulating this situation. I'm not trying to. It's like, who is the first person I want to call? Is Niall. Because Niall is not, I'm not looking for anything out of this situation. I never did. I'm kind of the worst thing that ever happened to you in your life. But you're calling me because we're friends, right? So that's how I would differentiate.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
Do you understand that, Scotty? It's very important to me that you understand that.
I do. I understand it. I get it.
Hmm.
And so, and I don't want to give the impression that I don't think men and women can be friends. But I think there's a different dynamic. There's a
Yeah,
different
but
physiological
you
dynamic.
think that men and women are attracted to sexuality. It's like this unspoken thing. It's like, but that I think
Women are less inclined to be attracted to a man for sexual reasons than a man is inclined to be attracted to a woman for sexual reasons.
absolutely.
It's the way we're wired.
Women are more inclined to manipulate that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it depends on the person, but I
Yeah.
think that friendship, platonic, let's call it that, platonic friendship is the most pure
Yes.
relationship you can have in the world,
Yeah.
because once you introduce sexual
Sexuality.
into it, because it opens up a huge gate between men and women, and
I
that
will
is
tell you, I had a good friend who was a woman that in about the year 2000, we started hanging. And it was before I was actually divorced from my ex-wife, but we were separated and divorce had been filed, custody battle, all of that. And this woman and I, just to give a physical description, I once she was an actor, and amongst other things, and I did a photo shoot of her sitting in a wooden throne, dressed in a dress, mimicking the cover of Kate Blanchett playing Queen Elizabeth in the movie Elizabeth. She's leaning on one arm of the chair, and she's got this gorgeous dress on, and she had long red hair, and she looked even like Kate Blanchett to a certain degree. And so, just to get that visual in your head, well, we hung out together. We did everything together. We went to eat together. We went shopping together. We hung out. I had my own apartment. I was trying to win custody of my kids and all of this. And we became very close. And there was even a time, there were people, all of her friends, which was a different crowd than I hung with, all believed we were getting married. That's how close we were. But we weren't. Did I think of her sexually in the back of my head? Sure, of course. I'm a guy. Did I ever push that issue? Never. Never pushed that issue. Never asked. Never tried to romance her that way.
yeah, but it was the elephant in the room, though.
It was the elephant in the room. And I even got involved with another woman that I started dating, who I dated for 4 years. And I remember this woman, friend of mine, came over and she met her once, and she said to me, "Wow, isn't she the little rich girl?" So already I saw there were claws that came out, and while we weren't dating, we weren't in that sense of dating, romantic. I already saw that there was something there that made her say that. Well, I dated this woman for 4 years. So 4 years went by. I saw my friend Anita on occasion. I wasn't going to give her name, and I just slipped it out. My redheaded friend. I saw her occasionally, and then I broke up with the new girl 3.5, 4 years later, and I was having a family gathering at my house. Oh, and by the way, my redheaded friend, she would come to my family gatherings. She would come to. My mom ran a karaoke business. And she'd come and sing with me at my mom's karaoke nights, where she ran business in bars and pubs and stuff like that. And so everybody got to know her. She sang, by the way, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between her and Janis Joplin. So very frenetic and energetic. Well, one night she came over around Christmas time, when my mom and my whole family was over at my house, and the girlfriend stopped by, and we were broken up. She just stopped by out of the blue and sat and said hi to everybody. And it was, I wasn't all that comfortable with it. I didn't know what to think. Well, she left. And my redheaded friend, she said to me, while everybody's, having fun playing board games at the table and drinking wine, and she looks at me and she says, I got to tell you something. She said, I love you. She said, I am in love with you. And she said, the fact that your girlfriend came by, and she knew who she was, that she came by, she said, sealed that for me. Because I suddenly felt very threatened that she
Of
would.
course, you had somebody in love with you, and you had a girlfriend as well, and
Right.
No pressure at all.
What happens that night after my family leaves?
Mm.
She and I are in my office, my studio. Everything, it was like a movie scene. Everything shoved off the desk, and there it was. Sexual activity took place. Now, we remained close for a while. But after that happened, the dynamic changed. She didn't want to be in a marriage type of a relationship, but she loved me. Now she has gone to the sexual part with me, just like I did with her. And it changed our dynamic. And we drifted apart. And now she's somebody I haven't talked to in years. That was all in, let's see, when would that have been? That was all in the 6 months before I met Rainey. So that was in 2004.
Yeah. And
right?
now might be a time for you to reinstigate contact with this person, because I think the dynamics between men and women are pretty much driven by evolution, as we know, and an urge. And men are very, very, very stupid when it comes to. They don't see the writing on the wall. They don't see.
We don't logic. Men don't. And by the way, thanks, Sean. Yeah, exactly. In Iowa. But I'll tell you something. Men, we do not think our way through romantic relationships very well.
We don't think at all. I would actually, we don't think them out. We actually think in terms of the orgasm, and then we're like, and then men tend to change when post orgasm, and then we kind of go,
Iowa.
oh well, what the hell am I doing here? I'm not sure what whereas for the woman, it's like, well, that was an extremely profound.
The womanly response to that would be, I can't believe I let that happen. I can't believe we went there. I'm really ashamed of myself for doing that. And the guy's like, I'm okay with it.
It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So anyway, the nice thing was, within that was Christmas of 2004, and by August of 2005, Rainey and I were together. So we met not long after that. She used to come to my house every Thursday for the scotch and cookies with her friend, and we had that little gathering every Thursday at my house. And I had an open thing. The people I knew at the Renaissance Festival were mostly the people that came every Thursday night. I told everybody, come to my house. We're going to have scotch. We're baking cookies. It was just a thing. It was a funny thing that started by accident. And I said, so come on over. We had some of our Irish band friends would come with their instruments. They'd play music in my house every Thursday night. We had stuff going on and there was usually a handful, about 3 or 4 people that were there so late they just slept in the extra beds and rooms in my house and sofas, and I made them all breakfast on Friday morning, and I made them pancakes and eggs, and they go to work.
Really? Wow.
And they left for work in the morning. But I had a policy at my house. Now remember, I was a sole custodial dad to my 3 children.
Yes.
At the time, my daughters were 13, my twin daughters, and my son was 3 and going on 4. And so they were there all the time, except for the weekends they went with their mom. And so, but I let everybody know my house is a place for my friends. My back door on the breezeway, do you call them that in Ireland, between the house and the garage? If it's enclosed, it's a breezeway, they call it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they use different terminology in Ireland.
Yeah, these aspects do not exist. But I'm
So
curious.
I
Yeah,
left the back door open. I told everybody, hold on to your question. I would tell everybody, my back door on the breezeway to the back patio is always unlocked. If you need a place to sleep, if you need a cup of coffee, if you need a meal, this is the place you can come. And my door is open. I had an open door policy for everybody. And sometimes people used it. And and people were always very good to me about it. Nobody took advantage, but there were some people that needed it sometimes. I said, these are my friends. This is what I want my life to be like. And my daughters and my son had the sheer privilege of growing up around these people, those musicians, those actors, those people that were, I felt, most of them very genuine people. And
well, I will just say, Scotty, that I think you were extremely lucky with your open door policy, that you didn't take advantage of, you didn't get robbed, you didn't get mugged, you didn't get, because people are people, you see, again, you seem to have this romanticized ideal of,
I think it's the things I grew up with
humanity, because humans will
that
take advantage of you. You get addicts who will come in, you will get hangers on, you will get people who try and rob you, and they'll steal the teeth out of your head. That has been my experience. I can't. We have no time tonight to go into my experience, but Shawnee, when you will tell you all about my experience last weekend when I hung out with some heroin addicts and some alcoholics who were truly desperate and in great pain. And I just went down there one day, and this is true. I don't want to extend this out because you probably want to get to bed. But I went down to these guys because a friend of mine had somebody who was severely suffering from cocaine addiction. And this is a friend who I knew for many years. And when I saw her son transform his personality, I said, this is not him. He became very aggressive and very argumentative. So, of course, the scientist in me, I put myself into the lion's den. So I walked under this bridge one day in my local town. And, in every town, there's a certain place that you can go to where they all hang out, with the alcoholics and the drug addicts and the cocaine addicts. And I thought, and the first thing, it was very dramatic, because that's the kind of person I am. I said, listen, I have a 6 can of cider here and 20 cigarettes, right? And they're all looking at me. I said, listen, all I want from you is the truth. And the alcoholics are all, and they told me the truth about their displaced childhoods, about their time in prison. They were almost all had been to prison for some reason, which I found amazing because I've never been to prison. But the heroin addicts who should come and go, very thin, very you give them a can and they calm down. The cocaine addicts, on the other hand, were very aggressive, very almost psychotic. Unless they got their drug, they would turn on you in a second.
Sure.
So why did I put myself in that situation? Because I wanted to find out who these people were, and I also had a huge how can I explain, Scotty? Connection
Sure.
to these people, because these are the people who left the cliff, and they kind of jumped off the cliff and just there's no way down.
Well,
So
a lot
when it comes to friendship, I don't want to get off track, but when it comes to friendship and self-protection and stuff like that, I wouldn't be the type of person who would ever trust a wife or a friend unless I really had to go to the ringer with them. So that's just the kind of person I am. I hope you learned something about that.
Yes. Well, my mind is slowly going for the day, so I'm thought out. So I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to sign off. Thanks for coming.
Listen, I'm sorry for keeping you for so long. I'm sure there's a ton of people saying
I didn't want to be. So
I'm sure there's a ton of people saying, "Why did you spend so long talking to this Irish dickhead?"
Because I love him. I like him.
Well, I love you too. That's what friendship is.
There it is, brother.
Let you go.
You have a good morning now. It's morning there. So what is it? 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So, well, you have a good 5:39 a.m. Something like that. Well, you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you maybe tonight.
Okay, brother.
All right, brother. See you later. All right, guys. There we go. We are I'm just about done for the night. Look at my eyes. Just about done for the night. So, sometimes listening in on a conversation is some of the best entertainment, for lack of a better word, there can be. And so, a couple of good conversations tonight. And the captain's cabin are. So, yeah, same here, Iowa. Very interesting stuff, though. And Dave, says the secret to keeping her happy. I got to put that on the screen. Listen, don't talk. Please her first, and she'll want to please you too. Do the little things, poetic notes, cook her favorites, send flowers once in a while. And I almost don't agree with that. We can talk about that maybe on Friday this week. But I agree with it and I don't agree with it. The secret to keeping her happy, listen, don't talk. That's not a relationship, as far as I'm concerned. You need to listen, but there needs to be mutual listening, I believe. But we also have to address the fact that there are physiological differences between men and women. As much as our society wants to try to blend those things nowadays, they're not blendable. So I understand those things. And please her first, and she'll want to please you too, to a certain degree. I don't agree with that. I think sometimes it's all, once again, mutual. You can strive to do those things, but they should be mutually acceptable things, mutually performed. Do the little things, the poetic notes, cook her favorites, send flowers once in a while. Those things are great. I believe in all of those things. But I have also found that those things don't always work. But you keep trying to do those things. I will tell you, there are times you run out of desire to keep pursuing doing those things when they're rejected, when they're not things that work. And of course, there's all kinds of dynamics I'm skipping over here to say that. So I know Rainey and I do that stuff for each other, and it tends to work. She's busy being a mom, and I am, Michelle. I thought I tried to answer that earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt Niall to answer it. It started out that way, that Andy had asked me to ghostwrite the book, and then he said, "No, you just write it. Just use your name. I want your name on it." Then it went to Andy started writing me sections that he would write them out. Here's some of the stuff I want included in the book, and then I'm taking those, and while I'm writing, like the segment I read a little while ago, almost all of that was added in between two lines that he gave me, because I knew what he was getting at, and I discussed that with him. So, yeah. Roger Rabbit, you're right. Sometimes life gets in the way, timing starts to fail, and it spirals from there. That's true. Recovering from those things is as easy as the desire of both people to recover them. If you don't have two people that are on the same page, however, or one person that wants to deal in resentments, or one person that says, I sure got cheated in this deal, it's hard to recover from those things. So it has to be something where, like when Rainey and I, when we have our difficult times, it really still comes down to, she wants to be here and I want to be there with her. And so we tend to always work our way through things. Or sometimes Rainey is the type of person that can say something very foul and nasty to you one day, because she's a hothead. She's that kind of person. If she thinks you're a fucking screw up, she'll call you a fucking screw up. I could be like, don't talk to me that way. I don't deserve that. Fuck off. Yeah, well, okay, you too. Within an hour or two or the next day, it's, hey, I sent this thing to you. I want you to take a look at, or whatever it might be. Life goes on. You move on. So I don't know if that was sarcastic, Michelle, or not, but that's the truism of life and life together sometimes. Rainey's a very different kind of person than I am. She does things differently. She has different expectations. My expectations are fairly low. Hers are fairly high, in different areas. And so we've always got stuff. Uncle Dave knows us the best. He's seen both sides of both of us. So anyway, it's the way it works. So it's a two-way street. That's right. So anyway, it's about all I got. I'm pretty tapped tonight. I'll just start repeating myself now. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all for sticking around. Wow. We went an hour and 45 minutes past the end of the show. How about that? That doesn't happen often, unless I'm sitting here talking with Uncle Dave. So everybody, you have a good night. I appreciate you all. Thanks for being here. And that's all I know. All right. So there it is. Live long and prosper.